Okay. Good evening. My name is Hürber Samsidal Bolat. I'm the project coordinator of ELISA in a Core project on behalf of Istanbul Technical University. And I would like to introduce, before the introduce our speakers, I want to welcome all students here, researchers, colleagues, and guests of ELISA European University on behalf of ITU in a core team for our exciting innovation talk about AI and innovation, entitled as Artificial Intelligence and Innovation, Implications and Challenges. Today, our speakers, dear Nazım Kemal Üre, dear Hatice Köse, as well as our alumni and entrepreneur, dear Mert Menekşe, will discuss important topics on in and around AI. I'm sure we will listen interesting and valuable debates about AI's potential implementation domains and the future research areas. I would like to thank all panelists and the ELISA in a Core project team that enabled this event. And of course, all participants who will add value by asking thought-provoking questions. We will welcome your questions directly from YouTube because you know that this event will be broadcasted live on YouTube, and we will collect them and ask our panelists on your behalf. And now I would like to give the floor to Nazım Kemal Üre and thank you. A fruitful panel. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Bersam Hocam, for this wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nazım Kemal Üre. I'm an associate professor at the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Engineering at Istanbul Technical University. And I'm very happy to be here today moderating this nice panel on artificial intelligence. And I have two wonderful panelists with me today. One representing academia, Professor Hatice Köse from the same department as me, Department of AI. She's actually the head of the department, so we are very honored to have her here today. And representing industry, we got Mert Menekşe, who is the co-founder of the AI startup Kovan. Thank you very much again for accepting our invitation and being here today. And thanks to the audience for coming out. I think it would be a good idea to start with some introductions. Professor Hatice, can you please maybe introduce yourselves a bit in more detail, like what kind of research you do, and provide a little bit background on that? Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me to this talk, and I would be happy to share what we do and what we plan to do about AI and our works and thoughts related to academia. Just want to make sure that can you hear me all?
Can you hear us well? People in the room? Okay.
Great. So I've been working in robotics, social robotics and AI, I think in more than half of my life. And I'm mostly working with social robots and AI applications for the good of humanity, for the education and health of especially children with special needs. So what I'm involved in AI and Data Engineering Department, Computer Science Graduate Studies, and also I'm a founding member of the Game and Interaction Technologies program. So what I will tell you will be related mostly to AI, but also to robotics and games and gamification, most probably. And most probably also I will be talking about from a more human-centered perspective. So do you want to hear more, or I can continue later on?
Yeah, maybe when we get to the specific questions, you can, talk a little bit more about the work you are doing. Thank you very much. And Mert, can you also introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Maybe talk about the company a little bit too.
Yeah, that sounds great. Can you hear me? My voice is okay? Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm so excited because I am also a graduate from Istanbul Technical University. After 5 years, I'm here. This is so wonderful day for me. Thank you very much. I am Mert, co-founder of Kovan. The Co1 is a data-centric AI company for increasing AI models, the accuracy. What we are doing, first of all, we are examining all the customers' AI models. Specific, there is any needs, any data sets or something. Our AI team examine the models and giving some tests about our customer data, the customer AI models, and we are create some reports, and we gonna say that you need some more data, or your data sets not accurate, or your model needs some validation or something. And we are giving some reinforcement learning service. We have four different services: data annotation, data collection, model validation, and also reinforcement learning services. When we are giving service, we use our active learning AI system, and also we are using 8,000 labeling ecosystem. Human and the AI work together. We say that human in the loop system. We are giving this service. After the service, the customers' AI model accuracy increase up to 20% is approximately.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Mert. Okay, so the format of the panel is going to be as follows. So I've got like 5 questions, and we will be going through them, and I'll be asking the same question to you both, but I will be requesting to give Professor a more academic and maybe more human-centered, point of view on the subject. And Mert, I will ask you to give a more like industry or commercial perspective on the subjects. And maybe sometimes I will also contribute a little bit too, because I've been also working on the intersection of academia and industry for a while. All right, okay, so the first question I want to discuss today is, a very simple one. What is AI? In the sense that, artificial intelligence is, of course, a very popular subject. It's a very popular concept. But, I mean, when you speak with people, it actually means different things to a lot of different people, right? I mean, for example, as academicians, when somebody tells us about AI, we immediately start thinking about models, mathematics, training. But if you ask someone on the, street, they immediately think about chatbots or maybe robots that act like humans. Or when we talk with companies, they talk about, how can I fire these people and replace them with a computer program. So I want to hear about your perspective on the subject. And Professor, for example, can you give us some of your perspective on what is AI, what is not AI, and why do you think the subject is so popular nowadays? We will be delighted to hear your thoughts.
I want to talk about this in a more simplified way. I don't want to give a formal definition of AI. You can already find it many ways. But I want to give a more simplified version of it. So, very basically, AI just was born from the idea to use the human thinking and cognition to solve problems in a computerized way. So, our basic definition is this. But when I see nowadays people, and I'm working with many different experts from different areas. They, for example, say, okay, why don't us put some AI into this? And I feel like we are talking about the Pearson matrix. It's not that way. It's just another computerized way to solve a problem. So you don't need to lighten up things with AI. If you need to use that to solve your problem, you can use it. And there are many techniques in AI to solve your problem. So you don't need to apply deep learning to everything. It is not a magical thing to solve your problems. So just because of this, if you can, many of you most probably have heard of ChatGPT or some other methods you can apply to your data, but most probably you will ask it later on, but I would just ask you to also see the background. So, applying AI, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to your problem? Not just, so don't use it just because it's fashion. Use it because you need it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for the answer. And Mert, yeah, the same question.
Yeah.
Like, what is AI? What is not AI? And why do you think it's so popular nowadays? And yeah, but can you give it a little bit more industrial?
Yeah, of
point
course.
view?
Yeah, actually, the first sentence should be is that AI, artificial intelligence, imitates human intelligence. We are using AI for what? Because so many countries, if you use the AI, you will be create some operation more cheaper, faster, and accurate. But you cannot solve all the problem with using the AI in the industry, and you don't have to. Some problems, if you are using the AI, it will be more expensive than using the human team. Cause of that, first of all, thinking what is the problem. For example, imagine that there is a one car. Car wants to go from somewhere to another, and if the car sees some object, can be stopped. You don't have to use the AI, just use the measurement sensor. If the sensor sees the object, can be stopped. But if you want to create the car also understand that red light and stop, see the traffic sign and obey the rule, what is the traffic sign inside of it, you have to use the AI. Why we are using the AI? Because I said before, if you want to use AI specifically, so many reputational, for example, you are using more data and you have to examine of them and try to make a sense solution. No one used the human feedbacks because millions data inside of it. But some AI, the engine, try to understand what is exactly of it, can find some errors or edge cases and giving the solution. Because of that, the people use the AI. Why AI is popular for now? Because maybe 2 years ago, just some couple of people think the AI and show the results of the AI in the system. Academician, some big tech corporates or something. But now, everyone uses the ChatGPT. In the grocery, in the market, now so many people use the ChatGPT. Because of that, especially big enterprises CEO think that if I use the AI, our corporate reputation will be higher. Now, in so many companies, try to create some AI solution, actually don't need it, but they have to because there's a company reputation. Yeah, now it's popular because everyone uses AI, but yeah, the AI is maybe 50 years issue, right? Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the answer, Mert. Okay, all right, maybe I will also contribute a little bit. So I was actually thinking about this question the other day, like how can we define AI in this day and age? And it actually made me go back and think about industrial revolution that had been happening throughout maybe last 300 years, right? And when we think about the initial part of the industrial revolution, you might call it autonomy of physics, like autonomy of physical capabilities of humans. Because what happened is machines basically replaced whatever humans are capable of doing physically, right? I mean, so if your business or if your company relied on, a lot of heavy grunt work, basically, like moving objects or carrying objects or, putting together some parts, with Industrial Revolution, that got completely replaced by the machines. So machines were able to replicate physical capabilities of humans. And now what we are seeing nowadays is, I would call, with AI, what we are seeing is automation of cognition, basically. It is basically now machines are not only replicating our physical capabilities, they are replicating our cognitive capabilities. Now we have algorithms which can basically perceive the world like a human. They can see, hear, and process that information, and top of that, make informative decisions like humans do. So whenever, the question comes to this topic, what is AI, what is not AI, basically, that is how I think about it, like replicating cognition, basically, of humans. And the reason I think why it got so popular nowadays is, well, because it came as a surprise. So that is, 15, 20 years ago, AI was always an interesting topic, but nobody thought that it would get that big. And when the revolution started to happen, when, a lot of different things, applications, which were like science fiction 20 years ago, now came to reality, I think it took a lot of people by surprise. A lot of companies started panicking. A lot of academicians actually started panicking. Maybe we were lucky, we were already in the field of AI, but a lot of academicians who were outside the field of AI immediately started to panic, like, how can I use AI in my work? And because of this mass chain of panic, I think AI got really popular, on top of course, the actual contribution to the society and industry that we are seeing.
You have a big data set, then somewhat you feel the force to use AI, right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, otherwise I am wasting all this data, right?
And one more thing.
Sure.
I mean, when we say AI as academicians, we also think of teaching something to the system, learning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can solve your problems just by a very simple lookup table. You don't need to, and sometimes, most of the times, you don't use learning, but we do that. So maybe if you want to decide whether you need to use AI or not, maybe you can think of that. Should I train my system, teach my system something? And what does that mean? With a very basic example, for example, my vacuum cleaner robot cannot distinguish between the things and my cat. If I teach my robot, what does it?
Same problem in our house, by the way. The same problem in our house. Yeah, I have also two cats and vacuum cleaner. Yeah, we face the same problem.
The cats have a special interest in that, right? So if you teach your vacuum cleaner what is a cat and what is not, then this is something about learning. And whether an orange cat or tabby cat or other cat is, then
Yeah,
so simple, right?
Yes, it should be.
But a big problem.
yeah. One more thing. Is AI like a child, and we are the parents. We have to grow up very ethical, very responsible to our AI system. We have to use good data sets. For example, there's one paper about how can we create AI models with user Twitter data sets. And after the feed the model with using Twitter data sets, the AI think that like a 40 years old, is a Republican, living from Texas. And because we are the parents, what we feed the model, AI thinks like that. And why we need AI, and also some unexpected situation, AI have to create, AI have to giving some response about to some unexpected situation in its duty. Because of that, we cannot use all the time as a control things, optimizing things. Because of that, we need some AI, because AI imitates our human intelligence, but just their intelligence as our intelligence, our AI developer intelligence. Because of the lots of they have problem. Yeah, it's popular, but there's a lot of problem in the AI.
And what if it takes the initiative?
Yeah.
I asked the question now.
Yeah, that's totally right.
Please. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Okay. Well, we have time. No worries. By the way, feel free to. Okay. I think you need to. Yeah. Looks good. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So my next question is actually related, maybe a little bit related to the next one, previous one. So the question is about, it looks like AI is this, very capable problem solver. Like it can be applied across many, many different things. And some of these are kind of conventional areas which people were already applying statistics and models way before. For example, problems such as, recommending purchases, recommending, movies and stuff like that, or applying AI to financial time series were always a very popular subject. But now we are seeing also a lot of other unexpected use cases. To me, the one that fascinates me the most is how it can help fundamental sciences. Like now people are discovering new materials, new structures. We are exploring the human genome using AI. So my question is, from your perspective, which use case or which area do you think AI has the most potential to make a big contribution or make a big disruption? If you can again answer that from a little bit of an academic point of view, like we will be happy to hear that.
I mean, you are right. So when we talk about AI, we see the improvements in computer vision, natural language processing, robotics, and many other areas. And I will leave the ones about industry to you, but what I see is that it can have many big impacts in especially education and medicine and health. And we can see that doctors have lots of data in their hands and they have a big expertise, and if we can just use even a simple model there, we can help them and we can help the patients, and it makes me really excited because it has many areas. And I mean, especially now, there are less doctors, and you have to wait a bit time to find a real expert. And there, maybe before going to a doctor, even you can have an answer. It's not like Googling and finding all the symptoms, but it's a more convenient, maybe, especially doctor suggesting way to do that. And for example, what we do is that we are working with children with hearing impairments, we are working with children with autism or babies with cerebral palsy, and there we are using AI to understand them, understand their stress, understand their emotions, and make a part of the treatment automated, and also work in the intervention problems. So it's a very big impact in real people's lives. The people in the street, they can benefit from that. That's what I like about this most. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, wonderful answer. So you think medicine is actually the area that AI is going to contribute the most? And yeah, by the way, I would like to emphasize what you just said. I have actually watched a couple of your presentations before, especially the work you did with deaf children. It's very inspiring. Thanks for working on such remarkable problems. Thank you. And Mert, what about industry? Which particular use case do you think is going to get completely disrupted by AI?
Yeah, actually, as Co1, we are just 2 years old startup. And from the beginning today, each quarter, the core team check our customers' stories. How can we help them? Can we fix the customer problem or something? And for now, we help almost 70 different companies in the world, from the startup, scale-up, and big enterprises AI teams. And when we check all of them, one of them is the biggest banking in Turkey, is some Nasdaq e-commerce companies. One of the customers is a good healthcare startups in the Silicon Valley. We have lots of use cases, and when we can create 2 different categories about of them as an industry, because maybe we have 100 different use cases about the customers from the beginning. Maybe we can separate 2 different categories. One of them can be EdTech, market tech, finance, customer experience. What does it mean? Lots of data, and some team have to check them and create some make a sense solution. What is the customer exactly needs? What is the customer behavior? What is the customer needs in our websites or something? Is a one AI solutions just for these categories. Lots of data. Someone have to check them and create and make sense solutions to our marketing, customer experience, is a finance team. For example, we have lots of questions, create the chatbot. And all of them in the banking, is a e-commerce or something. All the time, their customer writes some prompt, some sentence. For example, one banking customer write the prompt or the chatbot, I'm a poor. I don't know, am I poor? The chatbot said that, I don't know. But the customer in the chatbot said that, the customer user is a user in the chatbot said that, I have to know, am I poor or not? AI cannot answer this kind of question. Maybe generative AI can do. But one thing is a loss of data. You have to make a sense solution. Another thing can be defense, security, maybe retail, can be healthcare. Someone, I don't know who, have to check monitoring constantly for find some fault, some errors or something. It can be the bodyguard, it can be the doctor, can find the cancer in the MR solution. This is another category like that. Check constantly time the data and fight the error. Because of that, we can gonna say two different categories. One of them, loss of data and create maker sense solutions, can be EdTech, customer experience, banking, whenever you say. Is another thing, you have to check, constantly monitoring. It's not can be just computer vision. It can be another solution, just monitoring check, you need it. And the find error or fault detection. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, thanks for the interesting answer. So you think that basically monitoring of data, looking for anomalies, and so these are very important concepts for companies. Right, and from my perspective, maybe not a particular use case, but I think the way we are going to apply AI in the future, the one that is going to have one of the most disruption is the way we do decision making in general, I would say. I mean, maybe I'm a bit biased because I am working on this field, but one thing that always fascinated me is actually how humans are not very good at doing long-term decisions, okay? Only as a collective, as a company, maybe we can do long-term decisions well, but as individuals, we are usually not very good at it. And when DeepMind came with the AlphaGo algorithm like 7-8 years ago, and they showed that AI algorithms can beat human experts in games like chess and Go, I think it was very inspiring. It was very important, not necessarily because we want to solve Go and chess, but because that is a problem where you need a lot of long-term thinking. You need to chain a lot of small decisions together to make a huge win at the end. And I think this actually made a lot of people very excited because you can apply the same thing to industrial problems. You can apply the same idea to scientific problems. For example, by using the same reason, by same chain of reasoning, you can make scientific discoveries, you can make companies make good decisions, and I think that is an area that's going to get more popular in the future, and you are actually already commercializing it with your reinforcement learning service, right? Okay, so the next question I want to ask is maybe a little bit more technical. I mean, we are in a university, right? So let's get a little bit more technical. So from a technical point of view, what was the most recent discovery or idea or the paper that came out that made you really excited? For instance, I remember that like 4 years ago, Transformers paper, when it first came out, it made a lot of noise, and immediately, people were applying it to NLP, vision, lots of different things. Again, from your point of view, what was the most recent time in your memory where you read a paper or saw some news and say that, wow, that is amazing? Like, what was the last time that happened?
Not the paper, but the whole concept. Generative AI made me very excited because, I mean, we were. If you are working with AI, you are working with data sets, and you want to find data. And the thing which is interesting for me is that I can generate synthetic data, and I can extend my data sets. That's what I was thinking in the first place. But also, AI is not just classifying things anymore or just recommending things, but it's producing new things which is not already there, and it was very interesting and maybe a bit scary.
Oh, okay. So the generative AI was the thing that excited you most recently. And are you using that in any way or capacity in your professional work?
We just started.
Nice.
As I said, we are using it to extend to enlarge our data sets, but it brings other things now. For example, how ethical it is to produce new data. And
yeah, actually, you touched some good points. Maybe after my original questions ended, I will get some extra questions about more controversial topics like AI safety, ethics and regulation, maybe
good.
law. Okay. So yeah, I will get to that after our questions ended. Thanks for the answer. And Mert, yeah, from your point of view, what was the last technical idea that made you really excited?
Yeah, actually, to the tips, I am the fan of the Marvel comics, and especially the Spider-Man because superhero in the hometown. but I couldn't find any good spider for to beat me because I am not God, I cannot be the Thor, whatever. I'm not mutant. But there's a one guy in the Avenger. His name is Tony Stark. This is very intelligent and rich. I'm not rich, but maybe I can one day will be rich, thanks to Kovan. But there's a one superhero also, the Tony Stark. They have Jarvis, which means or the ChatGPT for now. I'm also very excited, like you. ChatGPT is a very popular, is Jarvis in our pocket. But really Jarvis not, because I don't know what is inside of it, this the model. They said that we are using, maybe it is a trillions data inside of it. You are asked a question, give something, but we don't know is exactly right or something. For example, if you need exact solution, I need to exact solution true answer from our ChatGPT. I ask same question, different large models, the BART, Bing, ChatGPT. I ask same question, and I shocked the results. All of them say different things. Some response very opposite between the two different chat models because they are not Jarvis yet, and also we don't know what is inside of it. Yeah, generative AI very popular, and also I'm very excited because I am waiting for the Jarvis. I need it, but now that's not ready. We cannot use, I guess, exactly our enterprises. For example, you cannot use ChatGPT for our enterprises customer experience solutions. Think that. By the way, lots of examples in in the sector we saw that. Some company try in Turkey. Some company try to create some chatbot model based ChatGPT. Use it. They are try to create some a chef GPT, and yeah, I said before. The giving some vegetables or the foods in your fridge, and the model said that you can cook this kind of the food. But that's not ready. Is that some people create different prompts. It's not about the food, and the model create different answer, and this answer not ethical for the enterprises. Yeah, the big company creates some PR works about using ChatGPT, but as a result, is not unacceptable for the enterprises because the model say something. But it's not ethical and responsible for the enterprise. Because of that, everyone needs Jarvis. Everyone wants to be the Iron Man, but the technology is not ready for that, especially in data.
Yeah. And it is not 100% reliable, right? Yeah. Because I mean, it can give out really nice and smooth sentences, but if you read them, sometimes it's just faking. So just we need to be sure that we read and check the results before we rely on them. And one more thing, for example, it's very, how to say, nice for the people in the street. For example, my uncle thought that Siri was real. It's a physical person because he said, it's answering me, and yeah, it's a real person. And I said, no, it's not. He was saying, no, you don't understand. You don't know it. It's a real person there. I said, I know it's not. that means it's a successful application, right?
Yeah, I mean, it passed the Turing test, right? It fooled that person. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the answer. So you think, so the generative AI is similarly the thing that excited you the most, but you also made some good points about how difficult it is to actually implement this in production. I mean, yeah, generative AI is very cool, but to me, right now, it is actually more like a fun toy, basically, or something that is very suitable for individual use. For example, if you use it for helping with your papers, or if you want to get some recommendations or stuff like that. Students use it all the time, right? I mean, most of you are consulting GPT for various different reasons. But when you actually want to deploy something in the production, then it is not a joke anymore, right? It is not for entertainment now. It needs to be reliable, it needs to make money, and it's a challenge.
just one more thing. Just for the we saw different is a jobs titles is a prompt engineering,
Yeah.
is a fine tuning engineering, reinforcement learning is a prompter or something.
Yeah.
Just for that, because also we don't know what is generative AI exactly. Even developers don't know that. Yeah, we have to control the generative AI in our industry because of that.
Yeah. And and my personal answer to this question, like what was the thing that excited you most in recent times? Obviously, generative AI is super cool, so I don't want to repeat your answers, but yeah, one of the coolest demonstrations I saw maybe 2 years ago now is again a demonstration on a game. So this was a project developed by AI team at Facebook or Meta. And basically, they have developed a reinforcement learning algorithm or an AI algorithm that would work on the game Diplomacy. I don't know if you are familiar with this game, but it is like a war simulation. So you got the map of the world. There are several players. And the game is actually for humans, right? I mean, they need to communicate with each other. They need to form alliances. They need to basically communicate with each other, form alliances, and attack other opponents. So this is a game that does not only involve, decision making in a game. It also involves a lot of communication. And I think it was wonderful that they have basically developed an AI agent which can not only make decisions such as, attack to this country or defend this, but also communicate with other players, like lying to them or trying to form alliances with them. And they were able to beat the human champion the team, the best team in this game by doing that. I think it was just like a fascinating example of how far these techniques can go. Another one that really got me excited was, maybe you have seen this, Hojam, how again DeepMind used these algorithms to basically discover new algorithms for making matrix multiplication faster. So that one really fascinated me because matrix multiplication has been around for, I don't know, maybe 1,000 years. And we thought that, we solved this thing. This cannot get any faster. And matrix multiplication is actually at the heart of all these AI applications. And now we have AI discovering that how it can actually make its process those faster. I think those were really fascinating stuff. Okay, so the next question, again, it's a forecast about the future. So I think these things are getting very, very difficult to predict and forecast. But in your point of view, from your point of view, in the next 5 or 10 years, or if that is too, long, maybe in a couple of years, what do you think is going to get, which use case or which area is going to be actually the most exciting one? As in, which new areas are going to appear, maybe, because of all the things we have in AI, or which use cases are going to get even more popular in the future? And how do you think this is going to disrupt our everyday life as an academician, for example? Because we also got disrupted by AI, right? The way we do research, the way we teach, the way we mentor students, everything is changing. So how do you think this is going to change in the maybe next couple of years?
I mean, a couple of years ago, the AI was just a concept, right? It wasn't doing much things. It wasn't even be able to distinguish between cats and dogs. And the translation systems were not working very good. Google Translate was poor, and etc. But now we are talking about really big improvements, and in the next couple of years, I'm expecting more. And I'm expecting to see this in many areas we haven't seen so far. I mean, the thing is that you are doing the same. We are getting invited to talks and so on. I'm getting invited to many different departments and psychology, law, and architecture. And they are all interested in getting involved with this. And this is really nice to see. And from my perspective, I'm thinking that AI can be very useful for adapting the current systems to the people's needs in the next couple of years. That's the improvement I want to see. I mean, there will be improvement in many areas, but this is the thing I'm more related about. So the people who are in need but who cannot benefit from this and who cannot be a part of the society can benefit from these more, because we can use AI for the good of humanity, for the adaptation of systems to the individual needs. But we have to be careful about this, and I think you will ask it later.
I think I
on.
will circle back to it, yeah. But about this adaptability, for example, can you give a specific example from the fields that you have been working on? For example, from medicine, what can we expect to see in maybe in a couple of years or maybe in 5 years?
Or maybe I can start with impaired people, for
Yeah,
example.
that would be a great example.
We have many systems, for example, call centers and so on, that recognize your voice, you tell something, and for example, you are calling a bank now, and you cannot find a real person, right? But if you are an impaired person, and if you need speech therapy, how can you deal with that? There is no way that they can understand you and they can lead you. Or if you are going to a bank or use a touchpad system or anything with a decision system, you are getting in a really big trouble. But these systems, if we train these models with also people, not the average people, but the other people, then it would be better for them. Even if for the human resources, right?
Yeah. That's
Sorry,
a great example.
you are asking medicine, I'm going to human
No,
resources.
please feel free to answer in any
Okay.
way you want. Thanks a lot, Hocam. And yeah, Mert, from your perspective, especially in the industry, and actually you are at a maybe a great position to answer this because you are not only a company yourselves, you actually service a lot of other companies, so you get to see their problems, their use cases and everything. So yeah, if you had to predict, I know it's very difficult to do that, by the way, but if you had one shot at this, like, I need to put all of my money into this direction, what would your bet be?
Very good question. Each year Gartner is one researcher company in the world publish an article about hype casual about the AI. What is the AI trends? And each year we try to understand that what is the most popular things in the AI maybe in 5 years. We saw that in this paper is a AI tourism, trustworthy AI, responsible AI, ethical AI, physical AI.
AI tourism? I haven't heard of it.
Tourism?
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
Is a tourism about the trust, I guess, responsible and security or something. This is not a technology about. This is
okay. So it's an abbreviation.
Yeah, it's an abbreviation.
Okay, I thought it had something to do with travel.
No. It's an abbreviation. The AI tourism, I guess, is a correct pronunciation. Just think that there is one box, and put the AI model inside of a boxing. The box is shaking, and try to understand that your AI is ethical. Your AI is responsible. Your AI is secure. There is any data provisioning inside of it. Maybe there's a new job title, red teaming. Maybe you know it. Google red teaming. There's some hackers. Just their job try to understand that these models includes any poisoning data inside of it. Some attacks come the models and change our models' behavior before the job. This is one team inside of Google, just making sure that this AI is okay or not. And now I and my co-founder Arman, we saw that technology is very growing, very fast. In beginning just a few months beginning of the Q1, we just giving the service about the NLP technologies. All NLP customers now have to use LLM or generative AI technologies. And maybe 1 year ago, we had lots of computer vision customers, maybe autonomous driving, is a retail. They are trying to understand how many people inside of the retail store or something. Yeah. All of them have to use now the multi-models, is a computer vision and the NLP work together. Big, large, multiple models, large, multiple models is a computer and the text together. Because of that, it's another issue about not technology. So many people argue about that, what is the law and the bureaucracy inside of it. For example, Tesla on the way, but hit somebody, crash another car, who is responsible? The Tesla, the driver, or car owner? Who won? Before the bureaucracy and the legal system agree what is the rules after the agreement, and now after that we will show another use cases, another edge cases in our environment, and then we can create good technologies about that. Yeah, so first of all we have to, like, AI Act, one of the example. So many European people works about the AI Act. After the rules, and then maybe we can talk about the technology, what's going on. Gartner said that everyone now talking responsible, ethical, and trustworthy AI or something. Yeah.
Those are some very good points. Thanks, Matt. Okay, so actually we are approaching the last question, but after that I will ask some additional questions on, you have touched upon some very good points. Okay, so my last question is, of course, about, providing some recommendations to the future generation from, again, an academic point of view. Lots of students are actually excited in this AI research. Maybe not all of them, but some of them also want to join academia, right? I mean, they want to be a professor, they want to be an industrial researcher who are actively working on these topics. What would you recommend them? Because right now it is it is an exciting field to work with, but also super competitive, and also, it is difficult to find a niche subject where you can build a career upon. So what would be your recommendations or guidelines for younger generation of researchers who wants to build a career in AI?
Okay, thanks for this nice question. So first of all, with the ChatGPT, many of the engineering students ask that, is it the end of computer engineering? No, it is not. I mean, ChatGPT is fine, it can write some scripts, but not all. And if you want to have a future in artificial intelligence, informatics, or computer engineering, first of all, be sure that you know the backstage. So don't be just the user of those technologies, be the producer also, and be aware of what you are doing. So there are lots of people there. If you ask them, for example, what is CNN, they can tell you. But if you just give the conditions just give the problem and ask if you are going to use CNN or LSTM here and why, they got confused because they don't know what they are talking about. Don't be those persons. So learn your solution, learn your problem, and even if you are not, capable of knowing all the technical details, all the mathematical formulations, understand the nature of the solution, and read a lot and code a lot. So, if you are working in another area, I would just tell you to read some papers and stay there. But you have to practically do something. You have to do lots of coding. You have to train lots of models. You have to put your hands into that to understand what is going on. Otherwise, you cannot just master it without doing that, right? And be prepared to learn things. I mean, sometimes I see people from different universities, they say, they didn't teach us this in the curriculum. So, sorry, I cannot do that. Sorry, we cannot accept that. Learning is a lifelong thing. So when we started, we had fuzzy logic. So in every 5 to 10 years, we have a fashion, right? And maybe 5 years later, nobody will be talking about deep learning. It's a surprise for you, but it's not a surprise for us. And we will do something else. So be prepared to learn that else thing. And never stop. Because if you stop, you will be outdated. Our profession is something like that. You can never stop learning. Otherwise, publish or perish, learn or perish. Okay.
Wonderful answer. Thanks a lot, Hocam. And Mert, the same question, but now from the startup point of view, right? Because again, lots of younger people, they want to found a startup, but at the same time, especially the AI field is super competitive, and it is almost like, you think about an idea like, hey, what if I apply AI to this? You think you are so smart, but then you look up on the internet, and then you see that there are already 200 companies about this, and they were sold a couple of years ago. So it is actually very difficult to find good ideas. So what would be your recommendation to, again, younger generation of entrepreneurs who want to get into this field?
Yeah, actually, the AI not a technology for now. This is also one PR and marketing stuff. Cause of that, everyone says something. Each day we saw maybe 1,000 different articles, and some of them say true things, some of them not, and we don't know what is exactly true. Cause of that, first of all, you have to listen the AI pioneers, maybe in LinkedIn or something, because also good and big enterprises also say some about one article, but 100% is not true. Just can be some also PR work. Cause of that, first of all, you choose what is your pioneer. They must be several of them, and read the AI developments inside of it and choose the way. But as an entrepreneur, as my advice, before if you are a student, you have to work as one startup, especially AI startup, because each week I wake up on a Monday, I read a newsletter, I said, okay, we are finished. Because there's one solution and they don't need us. But after a Monday, I saw that this new technology improvement is not true. And okay, there is any technologies here, but it's not working very well. Because of that, the entrepreneur candidate or engineer students, or maybe another students, first of all, have to experiment about what's going on in startups, especially in Europe, because Europe startups environment, it's not similar to Silicon Valley. You cannot move fast because there's a lots of regulation, lots of bureaucracy in the European Startup Committee, because you have to work the big enterprises, and big enterprises have to obey the big European Commission rule. Yeah, but when you have to obey this kind of rules in Silicon Valley, there is no rules, and every time they are created different technology, but you check them. But you cannot work in your area because it's a different industry, especially in the MENA region. That doesn't matter. Cause of that, first of all, to sum up, lots of people say lots of things. That some of them true, some of them not. And if you want to understand what's going on in here, you have to work, maybe take an experiment from some special AI startup in the Europe, because the Silicon Valley different thing is a Europe startup ecosystem, a different thing.
Yeah, that was actually a great answer. Thanks, Mert. And maybe I will also contribute a little bit, having worked in both academia and industry a little bit. I actually see a common pattern there, because students panic and they say, hey, all these great papers are coming out every week, or they actually look at industrial papers, right? The paper written by Google, Facebook, Amazon, and say that, how can I compete with that? And the same with the AI companies, right? I mean, how can I compete with these giants? I don't have their hardware infrastructure, I don't have their engineers, I don't have that amount of talent. How am I going to compete? And I think one advantage in academia, that is a thing that I always tell my students, the best thing about academia is obviously not the paycheck, but the best thing about academia is the freedom, right? It is the intellectual freedom. You can literally work on anything that you want, and nobody can, force you to. No, don't work on that. Work on this. So you have this unique advantage of looking for, good ideas in uncompetitive places. So that is what I always recommend to my students. Why would you try to compete with Google and Facebook on their papers? You find something else. It can be, again, an AI-centered idea, but it doesn't need to be the problems they are interested in, right? And the same goes for the companies. As a part of my job, I also evaluate a lot of startups and companies. And the first thing I look for is, the field they are working on, how uncompetitive it is. And you have the freedom to do that. Like, I mean, you can start any company that you want. Why would you want to start a company where lots of other people are already doing work? And I think that is the key thing. Of course, it is very, very difficult to do that, but at the same time, I think it is the only direction that makes sense. Okay, so I have at the end of my questions, but you raised some very interesting points along the way, so maybe a couple of extra ones about the topics that we have discussed today. The first thing I want to briefly touch upon is the points that you raised, Professor, about AI ethics, safety. So these are very controversial topics, right? Because now these algorithms are getting stronger and stronger. There's a valid concern, especially on the European side, about like how are we going to regulate this, how safe it is going to be, how ethical are generative models. So maybe can you summarize, again, your thoughts on these topics? We would be happy to hear that. Yeah.
Just I want to start with a small example. So you said you like Tony Stark. So, for example, in your birthday, your friends wanted to make a little surprise. They created a video with Tony Stark saying you, happy birthday. Yeah. Is it ethical?
It's not, and maybe Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
Yeah, let's not get into it.
Because, I mean, we didn't get any permission from the people who created that character, that video, and that picture, but we want to use it and generate new things for us. And I mean, also for the students, something you see in internet doesn't mean that it is free and you can use it for your own benefit, because it is produced by other people. So we have to be careful about what we use and what we use to generate other things. For example, I am working with people and people's data. So if I use that, I need to use that data to generate my models and help people. But if I don't get the rights or permissions, then it's not good for them, it's not good for me. And for example, I use vulnerable people's data to create new data. But if I don't store it or save it correctly, somebody else gets them and generate other things which would be very harmful for them. So this is not good. Also, you need to get their permission to use people's data. For example, I'm working with emotions and stress. So I want to use, I get your picture now. This is a natural face. So I put some smiles and frowns on it. So I create new picture from you and I created my model. But did I get your permission? Or maybe I would use this in another place which would be harmful for you. And also, like the other Tony Stark. For example, you get Zeki Müren in your new movie, but is it legal to use without any? And currently there are some, how to say, black holes there. It's not identified
Yeah, I
yet.
think, the law is certainly trying to
It's
catch up, but the
improved, getting
copyright law
improved.
it is not solid on the subject because nobody expected this to happen, so,
Or somebody take our video and make us sing a song, for example, from other video without our permission. I don't know. Is it legal? Is it ethical? And taking data, storing it, generating it, using it, sharing it, everything has to be within ethics and law, and it has to be identified.
Thanks. These are all very important points, and this is a very active topic of discussion, right? I mean, every day there is another news on that. So, thanks for sharing your perspective, Professor. Before I conclude, let me also ask Mert the same question, because you mostly work with European clients, right? If I remember correctly. So, what is their point of view? So, because obviously they want to use this technology as much as possible, but at the same time, there are a lot of regulations are being set up. So what is your perspective and what are your clients' perspective on this subject? So it will be good to hear that.
Yeah, actually, we have lots of questions from the Europe and also US and some couple of customers from the Korea region. When we check all of our customer stories, I saw that if our customers come from the US or Korea, maybe MENA region, there is no rule. We just take the data or take the model, understand that what is needs, and we create maybe synthetic data. We collect from the data from the crowdsourcers and they feed the model. But from the Europe, AI startups try to create as a good world in the Europe. Maybe understand that how many men or women in the retail store, what is the age of it, but I guess after the AI Act, they cannot do that because you cannot say anything about some people age, male or female or something. This is, I guess, now we cannot do that after the AI Act. Now, lots of our AI startups cannot move in the Europe region because of that. This is 10,000 years argue. Technology developments loves is a dynamic situation, but the peaceful, the human wants to live in a static region. Maybe 1 year ago, you as a scientist cannot open the human body and cannot understand what's inside of it because the church don't want it. But they have to do that. And also same thing here. The scientists, entrepreneurs, academician wants to understand what is inside of his AI. They wants to open the AI body. But the culture, the government don't want it. Everyone right. This is not about is a positive or negative issue. Everyone's right is okay. Yeah, Tony Stark don't want to use their face on the Twitter. Yeah, okay, but we have to use the AI for the development AI technologies. We have to find edge cases. We have to find what is inside of it. If you want to development the technologies, you have to create dynamic situation. Now in Europe, AI startups have lots of problem because of it, lots of rules. You cannot data anywhere. You have to give some article about I am used these data sets because of that. Yeah, very, very hard days for the AI startups in Europe.
I see. Yeah, thanks for the insight. So my standing on the subject is a little bit confused, to be honest. Like, I still haven't reached a conclusion. Maybe I didn't really have time to think about it, but yeah. But one of the things I find interesting, one of the discussions about this topic is how, for example, AI is being used for in entertainment and for example, as a tool for generating new content. Because I remember that like many, many years ago when I was a young PhD student and I still had time to make music at that time, I was really interested in composing music actually. But if you have tried to compose a music or write an essay before, you know that it's a very iterative process and you need some random ideas, right? I mean, you have your instrument, you randomly start playing something, or maybe not even an instrument, you can sit in front of your computer, play a melody, and then you keep changing it. Sometimes you randomly start generating stuff. And at that point I thought, like this was like many years ago, I mean, I know how to program a computer. I am doing a PhD in AI. Why am I doing this manually? And I had this little program. It was not AI, it wasn't neural networks or anything, but it would like generate a lot of random melodies for me. And I would pick the ones that I liked. And I thought, hey, this is great. But now, we have something much, much better in this age, right? I mean, we have neural networks that can synthesize music, right? Generative models. So it is actually much better than my random melody creator. You can actually specify the genre, like I want like a death metal song with, you know, this structure and that, and it would actually generate it for you. And when I first saw that, I was like, great, this is what I've dreamed in all these years. Now I can, write songs much faster because, I can get these ideas. But at the same time, there was a lot of backlash from actual musicians because these generative models are trained on their copyrighted music, right? So, and I said, oh, okay, they are right too because, because they are not getting paid for this or anything like that. So, so that was kind of frustrating. But at the same time, I thought, is it really that much different than how humans compose music? Because I mean, when I am randomly creating a melody in my head, I am also stealing from whatever I have, listened to before. I am not coming up with anything original, right? I am listening to a lot of other music. So this generative AI is basically, again, automating my cognition. It is just doing my job for me. But like I said, it's a very controversial subject. I still don't know where I'm standing.
Same with art, right?
Same with art.
paintings and so on. So you are, for example, using Mona Lisa to create new Mona Lisa.
New Mona
So
Lisas.
do you have the right to do that, and who could take the credit?
But when you create this kind of model, you are using Mona Lisa.
Right?
Yeah, because AI models have to know what is the Mona Lisa, and after that, take the model and create the new pattern for that. Yeah, this is also copyright. Yeah, very hard question, and so many people talked about that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we
what's
can
the-
have
yeah.
an whole different. Sorry. We can have a whole completely different panel just discussing this. So
also
this can
even
go
you
on
can
forever.
ask, is it art or not? Then it's
That's actually a
another
very
thing.
hot debate point, especially in writing community right now. A lot of people are, for example, whenever they are going to write a blog, they actually use GPT to create a first draft. Like, is that okay? Or like, I mean, there are some websites who are banning AI-generated content. For example, I know if you design a video game using AI assets, you cannot sell that on Steam, one of the most popular platforms out there. So yeah, I mean, it is, like I said, I don't know where I'm standing on that, but
It's a good thing to discuss.
it's a good,
But for
yeah,
a long
like I said,
time.
we can have a whole discussion on that. All right. I think you have heard enough of us speaking, so we can, as we approach the end of the event, we can take some questions from you, from the audience, and people who are watching us from YouTube, you can also type questions as comments. We will be happy to answer them. So, do you have any questions for us? Yes, please. And if you want, you can also ask in Turkish. I will be happy to translate.
If it is not working, you can take
can.
one of ours.
Abi, okay. Thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask.
Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Okay. First of all, thank you for your presentation. While using GPT or Microsoft Bing, giving a role to it makes its answers more efficient, effectively. So, for example, I would like to ask a question, solving an equation. I said, behave like a physicist, and it makes more sensible answers to me. Which kind of things change while filtering the data on the internet?
Oh, so let me see if I got it right. So you are talking about prompting, right? You are prompting the model to behave like you want the model to take a particular persona so that it can answer it better. And your question is like, how does that work in general, or?
Yes, because the data have filtered before giving my role, then it gives more sensible answers to me when I want to it behave like a physicist. Which kind of things have changed while this process?
Okay, all right. Mert or Rojan, who does want to answer the question?
Yeah, actually,
Do you want
I'm not sure, but maybe I can give some example about what is the works in the ChatGPT. Things that is a loss of chef is a cooker in the system. And they are doing is one of them create the kebab, one of them create is a fine dining, some of them is a created dessert or something, but is a data is same. Is a kebab and also fine dining. You can use the same meat, same potato, same onion, but you first to start the prompt engineer, you say that I want to eat fine dining, and after that the model thinks that just giving same potato but doing their cook like a fine dining meat. Because of that, so important is the prompt engineering in the system. I don't know is the answer to your question, but
Maybe I can also give another example. For example, you ask the ChatGPT a question. For example, you ask the ChatGPT, what should I do for the weekend? And say, I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. Okay? So it gives you a different answer. How does it do that? Because it has many answers to give to you, but by giving this, you make it a smaller list. So you help the system to choose one of the answers, which is more related. You give some cues to the system so that it can help you better. Is it what you're asking?
How can it decide like this, how can I be creative or how can I be sensitive? Which is the limits for this, for the AI?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
I mean, how it can think like whatever it's behave more creative or more sensitive. So what is the limit for it?
If you, while you train the system, if you define what is being creative and what is being sensitive, and what happens if I am creative or sensitive, then with that labels, it can select. So this is not magical. This is something to do with labeling and choosing the thing which is created, which is closer to that label. So I can even make a system behave like it takes the initiative and it gives you some random answers. It takes the initiative and it tells you something, or for example, you ask the system how you are, and it says, okay, I'm well today, how are you, and so on. But it is just labeling. So, for example, my robot, one of my robots, Pepper, I ask, so it asks me, how are you today? And I say, I'm fine. And it says, oh, I'm very happy to hear that, and today is my best day because I heard that you are fine, and I'm very, very happy for you, and so on. So this is, the robot is not feeling like that. I understand that at the end, but it chooses the right answer with my clues, and it says that in such a way that it melts my heart. So, but it doesn't mean that it thinks that. So it's just some labels and putting enough number of sentences to match those labels.
Thank you.
I shouldn't reveal the secret, right?
You have a question, Professor?
Sure.
Thank you for this very inspiring discussion. My question is about protocols. Do you have any protocols to avoid bias of different types when you are developing your models? Bias for gender, politics, whatever. I mean, do we have any protocols, for example, in ITU at the moment? Thank you.
So maybe I can make a very small comment. It's a very nice question. Thanks. I was thinking about that. So, for example, in our tests, we put equal number of samples from both genders. Or if we are working with children, we try to select children from all the age groups we are working with. Otherwise, for example, if you just put data from males, and most of the models are trained for a standard person, for example, white male from a age group, then it doesn't represent the rest. So you might, for example, I might get difficulty in making my speech recognized by that system because it doesn't represent me, right?
Yeah, we have actually as Co1 we have two different services about to protecting and creating unbiased AI models. One of them before the development model, each data annotated by minimum 3 different persons in our system. Why we are doing that? Because 3 different persons in our system, some of them can be Turkey, some of them in other countries, annotate the data, one data, so many people annotate the same data, we can create data democratization in our system. Because of that, we can create democratization of the data, we also create unbiased data sets for the model. After we fit the model, we create some the AI model, maybe it can be customer experience service, maybe in chatbot in the banking or something. We use minimum 100 person selected in our system and say that, ask a question to the model and try to understand that. The model racist, the model responsible. What is the answer for your question? And we create some sample questions, example questions, and say that, please create some prompt like this question and collect the answer. Our 100 annotators or labelers in our system check the model, ask the question, and we collect the response of the new generative AI chatbots. And after that, we create report and giving to our customer and say that when ask a question like maybe racist, your model giving racist answer too. And after that, please forbidden that this kind of a question because we don't know what is generative AI. If you give some input and say that make your show, generative AI gives some response and you shocked because so many data inside of it and no one knows that how can we work that. Because of that, you cannot say that don't do that. First of all, you have to check them. So many people giving fine-tuning, maybe giving reinforcement learning human feedback. You said that I don't like your answer. This is so racist. Maybe you know that in ChatGPT there is a thumbs up and thumbs down. This is reinforcement learning human feedback. You're giving the prompt and ask for a question. You don't like it. You said that this is a thumbs down. I don't like your question. Because of that, we have two different services. One of them before the development model, and after that, after the model.
Thanks. We actually have a question from YouTube. So let me phrase the question. The question is, can AI get creative? What about AI's implication in creative industries, such as painting, sculpture, design, etc.? Are there ways to replicate not cognitive, but effective human thought states? So the question is basically talking about like what are the implications in creative industries, and can we really, generate stuff that affects us in a human way rather than just generating random, stuff? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Couple of years ago, I think you might also have mentioned that I have read a paper saying they created music and they showed it to people, and they showed music created by people and created by AI, and they asked which one is created by AI. So they try to understand if it can pass kind of Turing test, right?
The Turing test for music, basically.
But I think similar things are also done for paintings. But the thing is that being creative is something else. What is being creative? I mean, AI can generate, I believe, really good paintings which you might want to buy and put to your dining room. But is it creative? No. It can select many good models, combine them in a good way, and make us happy to see those things, but this doesn't mean that it's creative. It's something related to human. This is the only thing I can say robots and AI cannot do that.
Okay, thanks a lot, Hocam. Mert, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, we tried, by the way, when to try to sales. I guess sales also is like art. We create some data sets, our potential customer, and we create some introduction mailing with using ChatGPT. Say that we are a data annotation company, we are giving a service, an autonomous drive or something, and ChatGPT model create the different emailing samples. We tried, and all of our potential customers said that this is not wrong words, this is ChatGPT create for us. All of them understand that, yeah, all of them. Cause of that, we don't use the ChatGPT for the rich customer because if the customer understood that this mailing come from the ChatGPT, our potential customer think that the Kovan don't want me very much because they are using ChatGPT, not their words. Cause of that, I said before, is a sales, I guess, lack of the art, the human art. And also think that is now, for example, carpet art. So many pattern in the system, and so many factory creates same carpet in the system, but everyone wants to take the Iran carpet. There is a good motive, and it's so expensive. I guess the AI take a position like maybe the Photoshop programs. They are helping the artists. Probably they are create the good artists and the small time before, but cannot AI create something and the artists have no job now? I guess it's not work like that.
So yeah, I also spent some time thinking about this problem, like what is creativity, and can AI really create something beautiful in the human sense of the world? And I would say that with the current state of the art, the answer is no, like you mentioned, because at the end of the day, these are just pattern recognition machines, right? Yes, you can feed it all kinds of data, and then it gets very good at replicating those patterns in a random manner, basically. But then you might say, are humans different? Like, are we doing anything really more complicated than AI? And I think one difference that the current system does not capture is art is more than patterns, right? I mean, if you look at any art that has really affected you in some manner, it can be a piece of painting, it can be a song, or it can be a poem or something like that. If you look at that, the creation that goes into generating that is more than pattern recognition. And for example, if an AI model is just only trained on a collection of songs, it only knows the notes and melodies and patterns of the songs. But when an artist creates a song, they do not only look at past melodies, they draw a lot of inspirations outside the music. They have their whole lives. They fall in love, they travel, they read a book, they see a painting, and all of this information overload is then transformed into music. So unless someone can train a model which processes all the human experience and information, maybe someday we will get there. Then I don't think we will be able to create like master human level art by AI. That's what I think. Right?
Yeah, and also is not good things a commercial. For example, I am the good at the football. I am the good football match visitor. Yeah, I am the big fan, and I'm thinking in our favorite teams, not 11 people, just 11 robots play the match against another 11 robots. I don't like it. I just want to watch the 11 Gladiator, maybe 10 years ago. Now is 11 the football player play together, and also same thing as art. I don't want to buy maybe it's a couple of years we can take it because it's very it's a popular thing, sexy. Maybe AI creates some paint, but after a year we are probably try to find good arts from the good artists. Not AI.
All right. Thanks for the the anonymous asker from the YouTube. Thanks for the question. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Yes.
First, thanks for the discussion. Are there any specific ways or approach, especially for the large corporations, to enhance their innovation capabilities by using artificial intelligence?
I believe, yeah, I'm just 27 years old. I don't remember, but my big brothers, big sisters said that 20 years ago, big enterprises use big server in their buildings. But now all of us use the cloud technologies. I guess AI will be transformed like a cloud technologies. We are not creating our AI model. We use AI just like any cloud technologies because we are 2 years old as a Kovan. And our teams at 20, all of them different cities and the different countries in the, especially in the Europe and the MENA region. And we have no office. Yeah, we have office, but little of it. We have our server. All of the data in the cloud technologies. I guess in a 5 year, all the big enterprises and all the startups use their AI like cloud technologies. But sometimes there's some problems. Examples, I'm sorry. For example, big companies needs their own LLM models, which use maybe a Llama model or another free language model for checking their information documents inside of the corporate. Because they cannot share their information about maybe the OpenAI or another companies. But another problems can probably fix with use AI like cloud technologies.
Okay, any other questions? All right, and no more questions from YouTube too. All right, I think then we came to the end of the panel. I would like to once again, Professor Hatice and Mert for coming here, and thanks for the wonderful discussion, and also thanks for the ELISA team at Istanbul Technical University for organizing this event, and thank you for coming out today.
Thank you very much.
And if you have further questions or if you want to discuss, we are all very reachable people. You can search for our names on the internet, so you can send us emails, and we will be happy to discuss with you. And I wish you a good evening. Thank you.